It's time for the Wrestling Observer Extra.
One more time for old time's sake.
With Dave Meltzer, right here on The Law. Live audio wrestling.
And let's go. My now smoking with the best.
Welcome back. It's hour 2 of The Law. Talk about interrupting a man's
I know.
work.
He's probably really mad at us right now.
Dave, I feel as though UFC just should not hold Sunday night cards. How do you feel about that? It's interrupting our time.
You know what? I hear they're going to be doing more Sundays.
Oh, really?
Down the line, yeah.
Why is that, though? I mean, you know, Sunday's a day that really wrestling it's like their night. You know what I mean? Why would UFC opt to do this?
They did a great rating last year on a Sunday, so I knew they were going to come back this year, on the playoff Sunday. So
that's right. That was the McGregor rating last year,
the McGregor
correct?
rating, yeah. And there were a couple of other Sundays. One Sunday did just okay, but a couple of the Sundays did better than expected. So they kind of had this feeling, that... because a lot more people are watching TV on Sundays than Saturdays anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
So
that's a good point. And with Fox, I mean, it's a good piggyback when they're hot with the playoffs and such with the NFL.
Yeah.
Football ruins everything for us. I think that we can just agree on that here on The Law. They make us move.
Vince McMahon says every fall.
Yeah, really, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Very true. All right, Dave. Well, we're not going to talk about this because it hasn't happened yet, but let's talk about the Rumble. Obviously, we're only a week away. And
weird, huh?
Yeah, and we saw them book Lesnar into the Rumble and do that one versus all weird thing on Monday night with Roman Reigns. If you're fantasy booking this scenario, Dave, how does this play out to you?
Man, I don't know, because it's like Reigns has to be there at the end, and so you either screw him, and obviously it's Triple H gets involved in some way because they've kept him off TV.
Mm-hmm.
So it's obviously going to be something with Reigns and Triple H. I don't know if he's going to come in at number 30 or maybe number 31, where all of a sudden this year it's a 31-man Rumble and he throws Reigns out after Reigns thinks he won. I could see that one happening.
Do you think they put Reigns in like super early and have him just fight through everybody, and then Triple H shows up at the end?
Yes, that's what I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I think either way he's going in pretty early, and he's going to have to fight his way through.
But the thing is,
the whole thing, the story of the match is without the way that they've built it up with nobody else mattering. It's like when Reigns isn't in it, it's kind of you're waiting for Reigns.
Right. Yeah, no, he has to really be there almost the entire match.
Yeah.
Dave, the mistake that was made a few weeks ago by Big Show. Do you think they capitalize on that and actually start with Reigns and Big Show?
God, I hope not.
I just feel that maybe I mentioned a couple weeks ago. Maybe Reigns just boots him out
real
away,
quickly,
and then we get rid of Big Show. But I could see them.
Well, yeah, you could do that.
I mean, Vince,
listen, it gets it off for a start, yeah.
And last year, that's how they ended.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right, with Big Show and Kane in there.
Yeah, I remember.
Unfortunately.
Not a dream, it's a nightmare.
So we do. I guess, the thing for me, Dave, is I would suspect that Reigns would have to lose this year. I mean, he's won the last couple of years, last year. But I would think for the story to move towards Mania, he's got to lose it.
Yeah, I'm tempted to think the same thing. I'm thinking that he's going to fight all the way and then get screwed at the end. And it's just a question of, do we get a new heel? I mean, we do need a new top heel. Is it going to be Triple H? Is it going to be a surprise? Somebody else. I think that's the big question on the show.
So let's talk about that, though. I mean, surprises.
Who could it be?
We had callers earlier, and the Rumble's always about surprises. Have you heard any rumblings?
Well, I mean, as far as like a surprise guy,
even
AJ. We've heard AJ's name, and I don't know one way or the other.
Right.
I know that was the plan at one point, but it was supposed to be a secret. So now that it's not a secret, who knows what they're going to do?
I'm very suspect with AJ cutting that promo on an indie show saying that he's free that day. He knows that's going to get out, and that seems as though they've changed their plans.
That's how I read it too.
Yeah,
that's exactly how I read it. Yeah.
But Rob Van Dam had come up earlier in the show, or anyone like that last year.
Rob Van Dam's he's a possibility. He's, there's guys like that out there.
Last year we had Boogeyman, we had Bully Ray. This year I'm just wondering if anyone's been close that you've heard.
I haven't heard any names, but they usually don't contact people until the last 4 days. Because if you remember, some guys have gotten mad when they get called and have said no because they're not in shape because they weren't called in advance.
Right. They wait until the last minute.
Yeah.
Also this week, Dave, we heard announcement of Sting, the first one that's going in for the Hall of Fame for WrestleMania. I would assume that Ric Flair would probably induct him. Have we heard any other murmurings of who else we might see this year?
I'm pretty sure the Freebirds. Although I said the same thing when they were in Atlanta.
Yes.
But now, if you're looking at Texas, they were big there. Obviously, it makes sense. I've seen Michael Hayes, saying certain things that certainly hint at it strongly. I think them, and then from there, it could be anyone from there.
Yeah, it's true.
There's always a female.
Well, I'm just for myself, Dave. Lemmy for the celebrity wing.
I think so. Yeah,
that would be nice. I would enjoy that.
Yeah,
I'm sure Triple H will be the one
exactly.
inducting him.
Of course.
He can induct everyone.
Yeah, really.
That's right, for sure. Status on Randy Orton, Dave. Do we know when he's back? Does it look for a Mania return? Is he going to have Cena jeans and show up at the Rumble?
I don't think it's going to be the Rumble.
No, not that quick.
He had the surgery the first week of December. The earliest, it's a 4-month thing. So he could make the Rumble. If he heals quickly, not the Rumble, the Mania. It's possible for Mania, but that might be. It's the last I heard it was between mid-March and mid-May for Randy Orton.
Brock Lesnar, it's been announced that tomorrow we'll be doing the highlight reel with Chris Jericho. This is strange, I feel, to throw him out into that.
Agreed.
I don't understand what's going on here. The only thing that I could think is there a mini program looming between Lesnar and Jericho?
I think that's to set up a program or something. Well, the thing is that maybe they'll both get into it as far as the Rumble, so maybe they can have like something where, because they're both kind of in the Rumble cold.
Yes.
So maybe it's a way to do something where they get on each other, and then when they get on, when they are in the Rumble together, there's a meaning to it, maybe, or maybe someone's going to come out and jump him. I don't know.
Getting Lesnar out of this Rumble,
it's going to be tricky.
Very difficult.
Yeah. That's going to be one of the big stories of the Rumble.
Yeah, because if he's not involved in the title picture, it's Triple H and Roman. Then
or maybe Triple H. Maybe it's Lesnar going for the championship against a heel, and Triple H screws Roman, and Roman's not in the championship match at Mania, and Lesnar is.
I would be surprised if they did that. I really would.
Yeah, I would be too. But I'm just looking at different options.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, there's many different ways to go this year.
But as far as the babyface challenging for the championship, and they did tease that, on Raw, was Lesnar challenging for the championship at WrestleMania. So that's when I thought, I can't see anyone else. I only see Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar as the challenger for the championship at Mania. My gut. I just based on things I've heard, I don't think that Lesnar challenging for the title was the idea as of a couple of weeks ago. Reigns in the championship match was, but they could look at it. Vince could reevaluate it.
What do you think some of the options would be for Brock if you don't put him in the title picture?
Unless there's like some surprise. I remember scouting it out and came up with it was what Del Rio, Rusev, Sheamus. Braun Strowman. Look at the guys. It's
none of those mean
great options.
None of those mean anything.
Yeah, who else? The heel side sucks. Let's be,
for sure.
And they've had months to work on it, and it's still bad. They're months to work on it. They set up this Foreign Legion, and I don't think that they've been that successful.
No, not at all.
I will say on Monday night there was quite the struggle between Sheamus and Brock. A little too much for my comfort level.
Yeah.
They let those two fight for a while, and I was like, uh-oh, does that mean something?
I hope not. Hope not.
Injuries have been a problem in the WWE on the men's side, but also on the women's side. What is going on with Paige?
Paige has a concussion. I'm not sure when, no one knows when she'll be cleared, but, she was talking that it wasn't a major concussion, but with concussions, you just never know.
Mm-hmm. And they're super, obviously the way they're treating Daniel Bryan, super protective of anyone with a concussion nowadays.
Oh, yeah, because of the lawsuit and the concussion movie and just all kinds of things, yeah.
Well, let's talk about Daniel Bryan as we segue into that, though. Daniel Bryan, this is a guy who wants to wrestle, and do you see this proceeding into him trying to get out of his contract here?
See, here's the deal. His contract... It's like, You know, like remember when Rey Mysterio was trying to get out of his contract and his contract expired, and then Vince said, "Well, since you haven't wrestled for a year, we're adding another year, we're tacking it on."
Mm-hmm.
That's the deal with Daniel Bryan's contract right now. There's been a freeze put on it, so essentially it goes forever until he wrestles. When if they clear him and he wrestles however long. But I'm sure that if he's wrestling regularly, he's not going to want to get out of it. But he's on hold right now.
But has there been any thought? Okay, if that's the thinking, then has there been any thoughts of using him in a different way, like put him in the performance center?
Yeah. He's been offered like a job as a coach and as a TV announcer and things like that. But he wants to wrestle right now. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And if they're going to clear him or not. It's
a stalemate.
It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll find out. If they clear him the day after WrestleMania, I'll be very suspicious, but I don't think that's happening. And if they clear him, as number 30 entrant of the Royal Rumble, that would be interesting. I mean, he's ready to go. So it's just a question of them when they clear him, or if they clear him.
Yeah, that seems to be the more if they clear him.
It's more if than when.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an easy instant program of that Brock and Daniel Bryan match that everyone wanted to see a couple of years ago. That could happen, but I don't know, Dave. This concussion thing. There's so much around it now, but it is very peculiar because he's a guy who wants to wrestle, has been cleared by another doctor, and
he's been cleared by doctors. Yeah,
and even though he's making money from his WWE contract, he's not making as much money as he could if he was main eventing WrestleMania.
Not even close.
Yeah,
not even
so
close.
There's an argument to be made.
It's not even with him. It's not even just a money thing. The guy loves to wrestle. He lives to wrestle. So there's going to be frustration even if he's making money. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, this is a guy, he would rather make less money and be working in Ring of Honor but getting to wrestle all the time, or New Japan, or CMLL, or wherever, somewhere, anywhere.
Wow. It would be something, though, if they did put him as a surprise entrant in the Rumble. The crowd would go nuts.
The crowd will go crazy, and then, everyone will be happy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People would be happy, and they don't usually like that.
Yeah.
That's the greatest statement on Mouth's part. They don't usually like that.
Their booking sure seems to show that. Every time the fans get behind somebody, they go the opposite direction.
Yeah, well, sometimes you have to do that. You can't always make people happy, but sometimes I think...
Sometimes, though, Dave, it's such a movement.
I know. It's the weirdest thing because it's like wrestling is so dependent on the fans, yet at the same time there's like this thing about like the fans where they I don't know if that is the case in like other sports that they like resent the fans at the same time they need them. It's weird.
That's actually a good segue to Kalisto, who the fans very much got behind after doing the Salida del Sol off the ladder, and WWE seemed to be pushing him. There's a title on him, and then a day later, the title's taken off Kalisto. Do you have any idea in regards to what the mentality behind this booking procedure was?
I think that they just felt that Del Rio's the guy, and they were just going to do something to shake things up for a Monday, Tuesday. Man, I mean, I hate when they do stuff like that. I mean, if they want to go back to Del Rio, at least give the guy like a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let him. I mean,
let him lose it at the pay-per-view or something.
Yeah, if you do a one-day title switch, the babyface looks really bad.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it really helps get them over, unless it was a Roman Reigns thing where it's a completely different type of thing, where it's the main event guy. I mean, I think you can get away with it with that. But when it's a guy on the up and coming, it's like he just established himself as like what Kofi Kingston was for 100 years, and what all these guys. I mean, the whole story of WWE the last 10 years is a guy. The fans kind of get behind a guy, they give him a stop, a push, and then they pull the rug out from under him, and then the fans just get more and more resentful and start thinking, well, the only guy we should take serious is like John Cena and Roman Reigns, and then they go, God, why is nobody getting over?
Yeah.
And it's like because they don't trust that you're. They expect you to pull the rug out, and in this case, like when he won, I go, I bet you that they're going to take it at the Rumble away from him, and it's so early. And then, instead they did it at SmackDown even earlier.
Yeah.
Even earlier. All right, Dave. Well, we've got to wrap up this week. What is coming up in the Observer? You had a little bit more of a relaxed week this week.
There's plenty still coming up. I'm hopeful that either this week or next week will be the awards issue. I'm not sure which one, but I'm thinking it'll be this week.
Okay.
So that's going to be like one of the biggest issues of the year, and then And this week's big because next week's big because next week's got the Rumble and everything. So. And maybe JR and New Japan.
That's right.
Yeah, very interesting.
Obviously, we know they're talking.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
All right, when we will be talking again next Sunday night after the Royal Rumble, this same time.
Okay, have a great week.
You too. Dave Meltzer, WrestlingObserver.com is where you can find all of his fine work. But now what we need from you guys is to call in if you would like to take part in Title Bout Trivia. We do indeed have another T-shirt to give away from BarbershopWindow.com. Your choice. Call in right now. The phone lines are open at 1-855-591-6876. That's 1-855-591-6876. Call in. Title Bout Trivia next, right here on The Law.